fellow Trek Chatters, I'm Pit Trekkie, and welcome to another episode of Pittsburgh's Trek Chat. So for today's episode, what I want to do is I want to report on a story that came out last month, and it basically focuses on more of the toy world for Star Trek. So we know that there have been some companies that have had Star Trek figures coming out now for the last number of years or so. We have the Exo-6 figures coming out. We had in 2022, we had Playmates come back with a small line of figures that didn't last very long. So, and then earlier a few months ago, we actually had the Nacelle company come out and say that they were going to be releasing some action figures. They're basically kind of on par with the Diamond Select Toys Art Asylum figures from the 2000s. So, but yet another company has come into the fold saying that they want to make Star Trek figures as well. And so, who enters in but Master Replicas? So they announced that this planned action figure series is going to be more in line with the old style Playmates toys from the 90s. So they're going to be around 4.75 inches in scale. And they're going to have different accessories like those Playmates figures had, but including phasers, tricorders, and communicators. Now, these figures are supposed to be on pre-order now online, but they're supposed to be pretty much shipping later on this summer. And new figures are supposed to be released on a monthly basis throughout the year. Now, what's interesting about these new action figures is they're not going back to making the same action figures over and over that have been made en masse by different companies. They're actually planning on doing action figures for current Star Trek. So they want to do Discovery, Picard, Lower Decks, Prodigy, Strange New Worlds, Section 31, and Starfleet Academy. So it's going to be an interesting array. That's kind of what I like about this line, is they're going to be doing characters that haven't been done before. So according to Ben Robinson, the program director of Master Replicas, and this was the actual announcement for this deal. Today, Heaside Trading announced that they have signed a wide-ranging deal with Paramount Consumer Products to produce Star Trek toys and collectibles, including action figures and playsets, replica phasers, communicators and tricorders, and other collectibles inspired by the franchise, all of which will be released through its Master Replicas brand. A new range of 4.5-inch action figures is going to be at the center of what we're doing, said Master Replicas creative director Ben Robinson. Our mission is to bring the fans items they have never had before. Our rights covered the new shows including Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Star Trek Picard, Star Trek Section 31, and the forthcoming Star Trek Starfleet Academy. I'm delighted to say that we're also going to be bringing fans the first ever 4.5-inch Star Trek Lower Decks action figures and the cast of Star Trek Prodigy, starting with Rock Talk. The figures will all be available from MasterReplicas.com, continues Robinson. By concentrating on direct-to-consumer sales, we can provide the fans with the kind of deep-dive figures and collectibles that would be challenging for a traditional business. Unlike other manufacturers, we'll be releasing new figures every month, starting with Spock and Admiral Picard. As fans ourselves, attention to detail is incredibly important to us, and we've been poring over the reference material to make some of the best figures anyone has ever seen. Every figure will come with the accessories, and we're even planning some exclusive online variants that come with original fabric swatches from the Star Trek costume department. In 2025, the range will expand to include playsets, toy ships, and landing party equipment. Our goal, Robinson concludes, is to make products that fans thought they would never be able to buy with all the love and attention that they have dreamed of. So this is some pretty exciting news that's coming. So they did show some prototypes of the figures. The first number of action figures they're going to be releasing, specifically from Star Trek Picard, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and Star Trek Lower Decks. And if you look at them right now, they actually look like, okay, in size they're going to compare more with the Playmates toys in the 90s. But based on the detail, the painting, the way they look in design, they kind of look more like the 2022 Playmates action figures that they came out with. Now, here's my thought on that. I did a video on this a couple years ago, and when I first opened the figures, I said I thought that they were wonderful. That changed, because as the years have gone on, those Playmates figures from 2022 have become weaker, more floppy. They're kind of Gumby-ish almost in their moves. They constantly fall over, and it's not just because of the bad stands that they brought with them. It's also just the fact that they're just not sturdy. They're not sturdy like the old Playmates figures used to be. The stands aren't sturdy like they used to be. The other thing is that I noticed they didn't mention in here is these figures apparently are not coming with figure bases or stands. That concerns me a little bit because figures, no matter how you manipulate them, after a while, if there's some vibration or whatever, they go falling over. Okay? And that can lead to damage to the figure, getting chipped, things like that. So I don't really like that, but I'm really hoping that Master Replicas is going to actually have enough quality with these figures that they're going to be able to stay sturdy and strong. All right? So I really like the fact that we're going to get Admiral Picard in the first line. I think that was really popular. Picard Season 3 was very popular with the fans, and I think having action figures from Picard from that season is going to be a really great thing. We don't have any Picard figures, so this is going to be very, very nice. And then we're going to see Spock from Strange New Worlds. That's going to be a pretty cool action figure as well. As they said, as the months continue, other figures will be released, which will include Worf from Picard, Riker from Picard, and then we're going to get Boimler, Mariner, and Tendi from Lower Decks. All right. Now, during the toy fair that was launched last month in early 2025, they also showed the back of some packaging, prototype packaging, which displayed some other characters that are going to be coming from Lower Decks, Picard, and Strange New Worlds. Okay, so it looks like from Strange New Worlds we'll probably get like, the Helm Lady. I'm blanking on her name. Ortegas. And then with Picard we're going to get, I think we're going to get the whole cast, pretty much, all of the main characters, and we probably will get 7 or 9. I'm hoping eventually that these figures take off, we'll get Rafi in the mix as well. And in Lower Decks, I think eventually as time goes on we're going to end up getting a whole bunch of the characters. They're also, I also really liked was they said that they want to continue where Paramount's left off I'm sorry, not Paramount's, Playmates. Playmates Toys in 2022 left off. If you remember, they released several Star Trek Prodigy action figures. They had Dahl, they had Gwyn, and they had Jankum Pog. One of them I think even came with Murph. I can't remember if Hologram Janeway had a figure or not, but I mean, at least those 3 had been released. I saw them visually with my own eyes. I think Zero even had an action figure. Okay, so they want to pick up where that left off because it was never completed, and so they're going to start their Prodigy figures with Rock Talk. All right. Now, I also like the fact that they're going to be releasing play sets of for the figures, role-playing toys, and the model ships. Who doesn't love the model ships? Everybody wants to collect the model ships, and a lot of people were actually hoping that when Playmates had the license again in 2022, they were going to release the Protostar. But instead, all we got was the original Enterprise again and the Enterprise D one more time. So, and then in terms of role-play toys, they only released the Phaser and the Communicator from the original series. Been there, done that. Fans want new things that they can add to their collections. So in addition to the new action figures, we're hopefully going to be getting some of these great role-playing toys and some starships. Now, the play sets for the figures, I think, are going to be a lot of fun. And I'm very curious what they're going to do. Because, let's face it, a lot of the bridge sets on these current shows are going to be very difficult to kind of build. I mean, when they did the Enterprise D playset for Playmates back in, 1993, the bridge set layout is pretty simple, so I think they were able to make that very easily. But you notice they didn't make they did make a prototype for the original series bridge, but it did look a little wonky. Can you imagine them trying to do the Enterprise E or Voyager or Discovery? They might be able to do Strange New Worlds. I could see them possibly putting something together for that one, and I guarantee you they're going to. But a lot of the sets are going to be very difficult, in my opinion. And I mean, even a lot of like the engineerings and sick bays, things like that. We obviously want to see a lot of these things. Okay, I'm just wondering like the feasibility of being able to do those kind of things. Well, we'll see. The Master Replicas might actually really surprise us. Okay, so what are the prices of these action figures? So according to their release, it says that each figure is going to be $25.99. And Picard and Spock are currently available for pre-order. And that they're expecting that the first deliveries of action figures will be during the third quarter of 2025. So that would be July, August, September of this year. And it's in March right now, mid-March. So a few more months to go. Hopefully it'll be worth it. You know, I look at the prices nowadays, and, you know, $25.99 for an action figure, and really for today's day and age, that's perfectly normal. How many of you guys remember the prices of the original Playmates action figures? My mom was working at a retail store in our area called Hills. And at that time, she was able to buy the whole first set, except for Counselor Troy, because she was released 2 months later. And they were $4.97 a piece. I would do anything, one, to have them back at that price, and to have them be released again in retail stores. But as experience has shown in the last 20 or so years, anytime Star Trek figures get released into a retail store, whether they're Mego or Playmates or whoever, or Reaction, they don't sell. All right, and that's really sad. But a lot of times anymore, Star Trek toys seem to appeal to adult collectors rather than younger fans. And that breaks my heart as a Star Trek fan, because when those first figures came out and I was like 12, 13, I played with those figures all the time in all the different ships and the play sets. I even came up with my own little things with them. Heck, I used to pretend that when they went on away team missions, their stands were hoverboards, and I could fly them around the house or whatever planet they were supposed to be on. You know, you could be creative that way. And I want kids to be able to take these figures and play with them in the dirt again, or do, you know, that kind of stuff. They don't always have to be just stuck in a box where you're just going to look at them. You know, so I think it's great for the adult fans, but I hope that somehow kids get excited about these figures like we were 30-some years ago. All right? So I'm hoping we get a whole array of different ships with these models. I'm hoping that we get Discovery, the Strange New Worlds Enterprise. I'm hoping we get the Protostar, definitely. Maybe Voyager A. You know, and they can always do a couple re-releases of some. Getting a regular Voyager again would be nice, because trying to find the one from Playmates from the 90s, that's like a holy grail to try to find, and they're expensive. You know, we could also get some more Klingon ships that maybe we've never had before, like the Negvar class. You know, maybe a good quality Katinga or D7 battle cruiser. Different Romulan ships, different Borg ships that have been made. We could get the Excelsior made, because if you remember the Excelsior from Playmates Toys, it was just a remake. It was the Enterprise B. So, and the Excelsior never had those extra impulse engines or fins at the bottom of the ship. You know, so you're going to be getting something a little bit more in line with what the Excelsior really looked like. So, I mean, the sky's the limit. They can come out with some great ships, and I think that would be wonderful to add to people's collections. All right, and then, like I said about the play sets, who knows what they're going to come up with. I'm just going to wait and see what they come up with. I'm hoping they don't do another re-release of the Enterprise D Bridge play set. Let's have some different things that can be made. So, but overall, I'm really excited about this lineup of figures. So it's interesting, they line up with the old school ones from the Playmates toys from the 90s, but they, in my opinion, look more like they did in 2022's Playmates release. Let's just hope the quality is better. So that's basically it for this episode of Pittsburgh's Trek Chat. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this current lineup of figures that are going to be coming out from Master Replicas. Please feel free to comment down below. I will get back to you as soon as I can. You can follow the show, obviously, here on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com and type Pittsburgh's Trek Chat into the search engine. You can follow the show on Facebook, facebook.com/Pittsburgh's Trek Chat. You can also follow the show on X at PGH Trek Chat. I'm looking forward to the next episode. Until then, may yins live long and prosper.